What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, as you guys can tell, I am still breathing heavily all because of the fact that the entire WWE universe is still buzzing about what happened last night and Saturday night at WrestleMania. I'm gonna be honest. This was insane. This was by far one of the most insane WrestleManias we have had in a long time. And I'm gonna be honest, I can't wait to dissect everything that happened and talk about the pros and cons of the brand new Triple H era on this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. But before we get started, we are getting closer and closer to 500 subs every single day. And as I have said in previous videos, once we get to 500 subs, I'm opening up this Korean LOB booster box in its entirety that I got from my partners at Collector Store. Be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in the description below. However, if we get to 1,000 subs, I'm opening up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel. Can't wait to see what we pull out of that. So if you guys are ready for this week's special post-WrestleMania edition of WWE's Biggest Issue, and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, smash that thumbs up button, follow me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below. And of course, if you guys have any fan mail you guys want to send me, all the info will be in the description below. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which is this: what would you consider to have been the greatest match of WrestleMania 40? Let me know down in the comments below. And I don't normally do this, but I wanted to give a big shout out to a really good friend of mine who is actually one of my favorite, who is actually a subscriber of mine by the name of Malguli. Big shout outs to him. If you guys have not checked out his channel, I recommend you guys check him out. Such an incredible person. Check him out. Shout outs to him. But he commented saying quote, this has got to be a top 5 greatest WrestleManias of all time, and it has to be, and this is a new era with WWE. I'm loving it. Shout outs to him. I completely agree. This is truly the beginning of a brand new era, and there's a lot to uncover. So let's just get straight into it. Obviously, there's a lot that we have to discuss. Starting with those who had retained their titles. In fact, the only two that actually did retain their titles were both Rhea Ripley and Logan Paul of all people. And it's crazy because with Logan, even in spite of how he wins his matches, at his age, he is a student of the game. He's become more of a ring general than Gunther is, and Gunther is a ring general in his own right, having like over 20 years of experience in the ring. I mean, that is a lot coming out of the career of Logan Paul, and he's only been doing this for a few years. Literally, he's been doing this for only a few years, and he's had not one, not two, but three incredible WrestleMania matches. This year, obviously, was a triple threat match against both Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, and then of course as well last year was against Seth freaking Rollins, and then of course his first, his in-ring WrestleMania debut, he teamed up with The Miz against the Mysterios. So that's a lot. That is a lot. And then of course too you've got Rhea Ripley, who's been extremely dominant, even in spite of the fact that she hadn't defended the title as much. She's been extremely dominant, and I don't think her dominance is gonna end anytime soon. But props to them. But then of course, but as far as like Becky goes, there's really no telling what's gonna be next for her. I know that there have been a lot of rumors that that her and Seth are going to be taking time off, and it turns out that the rumors are true. Seth Rollins is going to be taking a long time away from the square circle to not only let his knee heal, but his back heal up as well. So when he comes back, he will come back stronger than ever, and maybe he might end up getting a rematch for the World Heavyweight title, which obviously the new champions. Originally, Drew McIntyre did become the World Heavyweight Champion, but because of CM Punk, obviously we all know what happened there. And Damian Priest even said it best, last night during the press conference, that he wants the challenge. He welcomes the challenges, and he wants to live up to Seth's expectations of becoming World Heavyweight Champion. And honestly, I don't blame Damian Priest for wanting to do that. But it comes down to how he approaches it, So it will be interesting, to say the very least. Sami Zayn pulling off a huge victory over Gunther, all thanks to his coach, if you will, Chad Gable. 666 days as champion, hell of a run, but no championship run could ever be as crazy dominant as Roman Reigns. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people who don't believe it, but honestly, Cody Rhodes finishing the story, it could have happened last year, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. I feel like with last year's match against Roman, I feel like as if this was truly the clear case of Cena versus Rock. The big difference between Cena and Rock and Cody was that with Cena, literally out of every single match he had lost more than 40% of his matches. With Cody, he only had one loss, and that was against Drew McIntyre. So think about that. It's kind of crazy, but that's just how it is. Props to Cody. Just props to everybody that competed at WrestleMania this year. I can't wait for next year. I know that there have been a lot of rumors that next year it'll take place in Minneapolis, so I don't really know if it's true. Obviously they didn't really make any announcements, but it is truly the beginning of a brand new era in WWE, as the fans and even Michael Cole on commentary called it, the Triple H era, or the Paul Levesque era. And honestly, I'm all for it. I am all for it. It's going to be wild. And the question now becomes, what what are some of the pros and cons that could be of the Triple H era? Well, obviously, the biggest pros of this whole thing is the new champions. They obviously, creatively speaking, there's a little bit of leeway. Obviously, the moment the referee Charles Robinson's hand went down for 3, Roman knew he was never meant to be for him to retain the title. Honestly, I think Cody Rhodes is gonna have one hell of a title run as the new WWE champion. I don't know if they're gonna bring back the term WWE champion, or if they're gonna keep the term undisputed champion. I don't fucking know. All I know is that we are at a point now in the legacy that is WWE where Triple H now runs WWE. He runs everything WWE. Shawn Michaels runs everything that is NXT. So this proves that the future is indeed now, and I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to be in for one hell of an era. And some of the biggest pros that we could see is the fact that some of the recent NXT call-ups, such as Braun Breaker, such as Von Wagner, obviously being a free agent, being allowed to go to Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, Zion Quinn, Tiffany Stratton, who else? All these guys, that came up from NXT within the last several months or so. We're going to be seeing a lot more of them, and honestly, we might end up seeing them be champion a lot sooner than we think. Another major pro that we could see is the fact that this is going to be a fresh start. It's going to be a fresh start for WWE, which means now we're going to be seeing new rivalries / storylines, if you will, that we never would have imagined. Think about this: Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. Priest cashed in Money in the Bank last night, and he's now the world heavyweight champion. But let's also not forget, because that Rollins lost the title, he's owed a rematch at some point. So is McIntyre. CM Punk, and with CM Punk now in the mix of that whole thing, one could argue we might end up seeing a fatal 4-way. Is it possible? Absolutely. It is 100% possible we could see a fatal 4-way. And also too, let's also not forget as well the rivalry between the LWO and Legado del Fantasma. It is far from done. And I could potentially see Dominic Mysterio leaving Judgment Day and joining Legado just to fight his own father. Is it possible? Absolutely, but I think Rhea Ripley, Mommy might be a bit she might be a bit heartbroken and devastated, I would presume. But yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing. Another thing as well is main event Jey Uso. Now that the era of the Bloodline is over with and it's done, one could argue that maybe now Jey can finally put the past behind him and move forward with his career, and maybe we might see him go after some championship gold finally after all this time. Maybe even go after the Intercontinental title. He could go after the World Heavyweight title, or he could team up with someone like someone like Cody and go after the Raw tag team titles. The possibilities are out there. And speaking of the Raw tag team titles, I'm glad that they finally split them apart, because just having one tag team hold two sets of titles, it just didn't work. In my opinion, it didn't work at all. And that was one of the biggest downsides of the tag team division, was the fact that all these tag teams were gunning for the Usos, but they barely defended the titles at all. So now that the tag titles are split, anything is possible, and I can't wait. However, one of the biggest cons of this whole thing, I believe, is going to be how it plays out, and how fans are going to react to it over time. You know, because sometimes when a rivalry goes on for too long, it just becomes like, it becomes one of those movies that has a constant series, if you will, with the exact same ending, which makes like no sense at all. So I think the biggest con is how fans are going to react over time, and whether or not fans will be hooked, will be invested into the product, if that makes sense. But honestly, I can't wait. I think with everything that happened over the weekend at WrestleMania, at Stand and Deliver, it's gonna be interesting to see what will happen next. But I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Now that WrestleMania is in the record books, we are now on the road to Backlash in France, and it's gonna be one hell of a ride. And with this new era, it's gonna be one fun hell of a ride. So get ready, buckle your seatbelts, because we are gonna love this era in WWE. All I can say is congrats to Cody Rhodes. I know he did his father Dusty proud, and it may have taken him a year, but he did what he set out to do. He put the title in the hands of his own mom. Shoutouts to that. Absolutely incredible. And with that being said, that will do it for this week's episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.